Welcome, everyone. So, like I said a moment ago, I'm Roberto Rodriguez. I'm co-chairing the BLAC for the Presumpscot renovations. Councillor Ali is going to be joining us later tonight. He had a conflict with another meeting, so I think around 7 p.m. is what he said he might be able to make it for us. I'm gonna first call roll, and so if you can, when I call your name, just unmute yourself and quickly just give us a here. And then after I call roll, I'll hand it over to the team, to the Harriman team. All right. Angie Taylor. Angie, I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Can you hear me?
Now we can. There you
Okay,
go.
here. Sorry, my bad.
Lita Semrawi. Excuse me.
Here.
And Dolphin.
And he's not here.
Sarah McMath. Jennifer Dubell.
Here.
Jennifer Babu.
Here.
Michael Loring. Anna Russell Better. Laura Fries.
Here.
Christina Smith. And Elizabeth Lapierre.
Here.
Excellent. I know we have also members of the Harriman team. I'm going to hand it over to them in a minute and have them introduce themselves. Pretty exciting agenda today. We get to hear a little bit more about the design and the timeline. More of the, I guess, more of the type of work that this committee is really expected to have more of an opinion on and have more of a recommendation on. So again, an exciting point of the timeline for us to review today. So having said that, I'll hand it off to Mark, Lisa, and Emily for the presentation tonight. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Roberto. My name is Lisa Selwyn. I'm from Harriman, and I have two wonderful colleagues with me that I'll let them introduce themselves.
Well, Emily's taking her drink of water. I'll take. So it's Mark from Harriman as well. Glad to be with everyone tonight. Thank you.
Hi there. Excuse me while I was taking my water. I'm Emily with Harriman as well.
Excellent. Did we need to do any approval of minutes, Roberto? Or are we?
Let's get to that. So we have, and they're posted already on board docs, we have the minutes for our August 27th meeting. So what we'll do is I'll ask for someone to give us a motion to approve the minutes, and we can do that just by signaling at the screen. If you raise your hand, I'll call your name as the person that did it. All right. So Laura Fries has a motion. If we can second, I see. All right. So Elizabeth Lapierre seconds. Do we have any questions or comments about the minutes themselves?
Yes, I have a comment.
Yep. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Under 4, Presumpscot alternatives discussion, D, number 6, I'd like to amend what was written to state, instead of smoke, exhaust smells, please.
I'm looking for it right now. It's number 4.
Number 4, Presumpscot alternatives discussion, D, number 6. D or VI. It states that I said smoke, and I think what I meant was exhaust smells.
Perfect. So we'll take that as a friendly amendment for language, as a typo.
I can make that change.
Thank you, Emily. All right. Do we have any other questions or comments on the minutes? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes with the amendment or with the friendly amendment that Jennifer pointed out, please indicate, and we'll do that just by raising our hands in front of the screen And a couple of the members that have your cameras off, if you don't mind just turning them on just for a second so we can see you raise your hand. Perfect. And that's unanimous with all the members present. Thank you. Okay, so now I'll hand it back to Lisa for the presentation. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you, Roberto. So welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all. This is our September BLAC presentation to update you on Presumpscot Elementary School. Just a reminder of the design statement that was created with the community earlier this year. Presumpscot's design statement reads, a welcoming, diverse...
Lisa, you're not sharing your...
You're not hearing me?
No, we can't see your screen.
Oh. I can, but you guys can't, huh?
Unless it's just me.
No, I think it's everybody. How about now?
Yep.
All right, so what I was reading was this line right down here. So the design statement for Presumpscot is a welcoming, diverse family, creating spaces for learners to collaborate, grow, and explore. And so we're getting into that fun time where we start to get to use that design statement as a checks and balances throughout our design of the school. Our agenda this evening is on the next slide here. Welcome and approval of prior meeting minutes has been taken care of, so thank you for that, Roberto. We'll go over site phasing, updated floor plans and renderings, alternate poll results, lead update, schedule and next steps. We'll open it up for any additional questions, and then we'll adjourn for the evening. So with that, we'll jump right into the site phasing. The site phasing is going to advance here. All right, so the Presumpscot site plan is what you're looking at on this screen. And just to orient folks, the existing front door is right where my mouse is going back and forth. So the existing drop-off is here, and the portables are usually back in here. So what this is illustrating is the areas that will be fenced off as construction areas while the building is under construction, where the temporary main entrance will be, and where the portables will be, and where the contractor staging and traffic will be. So I'll walk everybody through this. Anybody that isn't oriented with the building is right now, again, this is the existing building right here, and the main entrance is right through here. The construction project is 2 additions. It's a front administrative addition, and it's a large addition out back with some renovations inside. So during construction, there'll be one-way traffic, bus staff, parent, and visitor through here. With the front having the addition and the back having the addition, we can't get in through the regular front entrance, so we will have a temporary main entrance for staff, student, staff, and public through the side right here. And the back addition will be enclosed by a construction fence, large enough to have contractor staging and trailers back here, separate from where the kiddos will be, and enough room to construct the addition. The portables that exist right now that are out back here will be relocated over here. They'll have a slightly different configuration than what you see on this plan right now. We had a great meeting with Angie on site to kind of talk through this plan. And we're looking at lining the portables up a little bit more along here to free up more space on this playfield. Currently, we're looking at different ways for the kids to get to the portables, whether it's around back here. We know that's a long distance for kids to get back into the building. Another option is to come across here, but it will need to be monitored because they will be crossing an area to where there will be construction traffic. So that's the current outline for construction while the additions are being built. The construction phasing overview, you guys have the shortest duration for phase construction. So that's That's good news. Less time you have to live through a construction project. Right now, it's looking like it will be summer 2021 to fall 2022. So the nice thing about having additions is they have less impact on the existing school and can go up a little bit faster because we don't have to work around moving of students in and out of different spaces on a regular basis. So the construction phase 1 will start in summer 2021 and go to fall 2022, so the whole duration. We'll relocate the portables first. We'll build simultaneously the admin addition and the classroom, cafeteria, warming kitchen addition out back. In summer of 2022, fall 2022, so pretty much that summer right before school start, for the school year of 2022, we'll do interior renovations that are part of the scope of work, and we will remove the modulars completely off of the site, so no more portables, and we will do the remaining site work to restore the site back to original and or improved conditions. Any questions on the site phasing? Laura?
I was just curious, is it the hope that for the start of the 2022 school year that those classrooms would be done and that the mods would be gone, or might some of those classrooms and the modulars need to start this school year?
Lisa, we can't hear you.
It doesn't say you're muted either.
No, she's not muted. I think her audio, her mic, she might probably having mic issues. I don't have the chat feature open on my end, so I can't.
I can step in here.
Yeah.
Well, Lisa, it's unstuck here. If the question was whether the work is going to be complete by the classrooms, the new classrooms will be online by the fall. I think you're saying by the fall of 2022.
Right.
Yes, Laura, that's the intent. That those so the start of that school year that they're online. In fact, the intent is that the project is complete by that time.
For the start of the 2022 school year.
Correct.
Awesome. Thank you.
If I guess for now, just a reminder, if you have any questions or comments, you can use the raise your hand feature on Zoom. It just makes it easy, especially when we're on the sharing screen mode. You can't see everyone that's participating. So using the raise your hand feature will be the best way to acknowledge your questions. Mark, I see Jennifer. Go ahead.
I've been curious about whether anyone has reached out to Portland Trails, who has a right-of-way on the back side of our playground, and there has been some discrepancy about where the boundary marker is, where Portland Trails has said that part of our playground structure and other equipment are on their right-of-way property piece there. I'm not sure how to word that. And has anybody reached out to talk about this site plan and the access that is there along that edge. Let me reduce this screen. This edge that is pretty much on like the northeast side of the school that goes around the back of the school where that blue dotted line is appearing. And it actually goes out to the street, Presumpscot Street, that right of way.
I think, do we have Lisa back yet audibly?
We do. Can you guys hear me now?
Great.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Apparently the landline failed. The cell phone is coming through. So go figure. Yeah. So Jennifer, that's a great question. I'll check with Frank Crabtree, who's working with the planning board to submit on this project. So that would be something that they would be looking at, any right-of-ways on that property. I personally have not had a conversation with them, but we can look into that and make sure that we iron that out.
In the past, when I've tried to work with Portland Trails for school community projects, it has been brought up to myself and the principal prior, and I just want to make sure we can nurture that relationship when this building construction phase goes through.
Absolutely. That's a great point. We definitely want to be partners with them in creating the, and so yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
Great. Do we have any other questions? I guess I was wondering, are there any other options for placing the modulars? I know that we have like options for accessing them, but are there options for placement of them? Is there anything else?
We're kind of constrained. There's no other place around the school that they can go right now. This is where that trail is. There's woods over here. There's play equipment here. This is a very small area. So really, you're limited to back in this area right here. And so we were looking at maybe lining them up along here just so it didn't impact as much of the play area, because I'm speaking with Angie, I know how important maintaining as much of the play area is as possible. So we are limited on the options, Roberto. It's mostly in this back green space here that we have to place them.
Okay. I'm not like I wouldn't say like incredibly intimately familiar with the area. So I'm particularly wondering from some of the parents here, like in the winter, what does that look like? And just stuff that I would, kind of wonder about. Aura, go ahead. You have a question.
Thanks. Yeah, just when you mentioned, Lisa, about the play space, I was just trying to picture with the entry being on this side, will that be affecting ability for kids to use the playground area?
I don't think so. Right now there's a paved walk right around the school right here, and so it's just coming in that side door right there. So it'll be coming up here and over in this area.
Because it doesn't look like the other construction. I mean, it's really helpful to see where everything's going to be. So it doesn't seem like besides the entry that there's anything else that's going to be getting in the way of using the playground space.
Yeah, there may be some minor impact with the construction fence, just where the construction's happening. So it may impact part of it. And that's what we're trying to figure out right now is what is the impact. But trying to preserve as much of the hardscape here too, so that there's a mix of the play equipment and the hardscape over here.
And that was why you were talking about the, that was why you were also talking about the mods being maybe scooted so that they weren't taking up as much of the field. Is that what you were saying earlier too?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any other raised hands. Who's in the back? I think, like you said, it's an exciting timeline because it's literally we'll start at the end of this school year and then one school year and then a bump and then you're done. That's a pretty quick turnaround time, so it is exciting. All right, Lisa or Mark, I'm gonna take it back.
Absolutely. So from here, we'll roll into updated floor plans. Not too much has changed. They're relatively small on the screen, but it's just getting more detailed, more refinement as we go further in the process. So the general approach, the general shape, the general spaces remain relatively the same, and you're starting to see casework and doors and articulation in all of these spaces at this time. For those that may not be as familiar with the project, I'll do a quick walkthrough of what the spaces are. The green is the new construction or the addition. So this is that front addition we were talking about. And this is the back addition back here. So the main entrance coming in here, the admin addition has your administrative reception area, waiting area, principal, conference, nurse, and then several, the guidance, social worker, OTPT area here, lobby, workroom, and two unisex toilets right off the lobby area. And then as we go back into the space, we will repurpose what is now the warming kitchen into a sensory space, and then renovate the bathroom and ELL and the 5th grade classroom back here. And those will have pretty significant renovations, moving of walls, new finishes. The rest is a pretty light renovation, so upgrades to make it code upgrades, technology, instructional technology upgrades. And then in the addition back here, we have our pre-kindergarten, speech, lit coach, cafeteria, warming kitchen, restrooms, art, music, right now the math coach and Title I are all in this back area here. So this is what the entrance is starting to look like. This will be a nice new identity for Presumpscot. So a welcoming entry for the students here. This is the main door. With brick flanking on either side, tying nicely into the addition, the existing building that you have here. And so this will continue to get refined as we go further in the process. And this is the interior. This rendering is not as far along, you can tell just by the quality of it, but we are starting to render the interior spaces. So this is the lobby right outside of the cafeteria, as you can read by the text here. The idea of creating sort of these pull-off or gathering spaces. So this brings down the scale of this larger space here, provides a nice seat and some color to be able to do pull-out function. There's small group areas. And then this leads you right out to where those basketball courts are right now. And everyone always asks about color as we're doing these renderings. The colors don't necessarily reflect the colors that will be in the school. They're mostly placeholders. And any questions on what we've seen so far? Okay, we'll roll into the alternates. The poll results for the alternates. So there was a poll sent out by Emily based on our last meeting. We've introduced alternates, and we asked that you rank them in priority order. And so these are the results of what we, the information we got back. And so number one is new HVAC system. So that's a new HVAC system throughout the building. Number two is new unit ventilators. And this has come up on a couple other schools asking the difference between new HVAC system, new unit ventilators, and DDC or direct digital controls. And really the new HVAC system is comprehensive. It's a new HVAC system, new controlling. The new unit ventilators would be looking at just replacing the unit ventilators you have in kind. And if you were to then add more control to those, you would add the DDC system. So they definitely, if you take the new HVAC system, you don't necessarily need those other two. But it's clear that definitely a desire to have a new or improved HVAC system in the building. So number 1 is new HVAC system. 2 would be that replacement ventilators in kind. 3 would be interior doors. So these would be any interior doors not impacted by the renovation. 4 would be renovate existing hallways. 5 would be the DDC, so the direct digital controls, being able to control the HVAC systems better. And 6 and 7 tied, and the tie was between classroom wing nodes and exterior wall masonry, adding insulation to the inside of that wall to increase the R value. I'll pause there to see if anybody has any questions or thoughts about those results.
And just a reminder to use the raise your hand feature on Zoom, because cannot see all the screens when we're sharing the presentation. Okay, I don't see any hands raised. So we can probably move on to the next section.
The next section is a lead update. For those who aren't aware, there is a requirement to have the projects be LEED Silver certified. And so this is what they call the LEED checklist. And we don't read what's on the screen. It will kind of walk you through what's up there. But we're working closely with Thornton Tomasetti, and they're assisting us in making sure and monitoring compliance with LEED. LEED is a rating system to indicate and communicate different sustainable measures that a project has undertaken. And so it's divided into several categories. So these blue bars that you're seeing are really grouping the different categories. And then the columns talk about the number of points that we could get for credits within each of those categories. Those categories talk to location and transportation, sustainable sites, water efficiency, energy and atmosphere, materials and resources, indoor environmental quality, innovation, and regional priority. And regional priority are those credits that are more geared towards the regional priorities, so sustainable priorities within the region that the building resides. So our target is 50, so we want to get 50 or more. The columns that you see here, there's 4 of them on the scorecard. The first column reflects yes. That means right now our scope and design are on track to obtain the number of points for each category. They're in that yes column. There's 2 maybe columns. We call it a strong maybe and a weak maybe, if you will, or a maybe plus and a maybe negative. And the strong maybe means that we're close and we have to do a couple things in order to push that into the yes column. And the sort of weaker negative or weaker maybe means we have a little bit more that we need to do in order to push that into the yes column, and sometimes that requires, scope modifications and things like that. And then the no means that right now it just doesn't align with the scope of the project and is probably not achievable. So right now our total is 49, so we're very close, but we have 9 in the strong maybe. So those are the ones that we're working on to push them over into the yes category right now. So we're tracking well. We'll have a more detailed update at the next meeting, being able to talk in a little bit more detail about material selection and different strategies that we've used to achieve some of these points. Seeing no questions, we'll move into schedule and next steps. As you can see on the bar chart here, we are marching right along, and we are in construction documents, and we are pushing towards that bidding period, which will be towards the end of the year, and project award in the beginning of next year. We are coming up on our third, our project forum, public forum, and so that is one thing that we're looking to schedule. As you can see from the list here. Our target for the community forum is going to be October 21st. Our next BABC meeting will be October 15th, and our next BLAC meeting will be October 22nd. And so that, I think, is all that we have for this evening. Any questions before I turn it back over to Roberto? All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Yeah, so no hands raised, so no other questions. We don't have anything else left on the agenda. So, yeah, so we knew it was going to be a shorter than usual one. I'll
Can
see.
I ask a quick?
Yeah, of
Sorry,
course.
do we know the time yet? I know it sometimes isn't until closer, like which schools go when and that
The
meeting.
time of our meetings?
Yeah.
Oh, I think, so next time we're up to be first.
Okay.
We'll get that's the 5:30 start time. Am I correct on that, Emily? Okay. So
I believe,
Thank you.
double check or send out a confirmation email, but I think that is correct.
great. Thanks, Laura, for
Thanks.
reminding us. Laura, I see you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question about the community forum. Would information, and maybe Angie, maybe you can answer this, would that information be coming out from you at the school, or would it come from Harriman, and will it be through Zoom?
Maybe I can jump in on that. The communication for parents of children at Presumpscot will come, from the school, as well as multiple ways in which it'll be advertised. But we will also reach out to a broader community in multiple ways, as well, through community organizations, through direct mailers, to people in, a certain radius and things along those lines. And I'm assuming the meeting will be on Zoom, just because that's how we're doing these types of meetings at this time.
Thank you. And
Sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, sorry, Laura. Will it just be showing them the plans and just more of kind of a pushing out of information, or will there be a opportunity for other parents to ask questions as well, or just what will the format look like?
Yeah, so right now it's targeted to be a project update, so showing folks where we started with the development of the design statement and how the design has evolved to where it is now and what we're looking to go to construction with. And so there will be opportunity for questions during that public forum process.
Lisa, can I ask one other thing about the date? Is that date important? I just am wondering, first I was thinking it was just a conflict for me, but I actually hope that there's actually a school board candidate forum, and I think other people might want to be joining that. That's that evening of the 21st. So I'm just wondering if there's a reason for that date in particular. Is that just kind of a timing-wise, trying to have it around then?
It was mostly timing-wise, trying to hit that time period.
Before our meeting.
Yeah. But, I mean, we can, if there's a conflict and we need to look at another date, we can talk with Steve and Doug and Javier to figure out what works best for the collective.
Okay. I mean, I know there's going to be meetings every evening, so I'm not saying that should be a priority, but maybe just a consideration.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, by the way, that we have till 7:30, so I didn't mean to rush anyone off. Remember that we're now doing these an hour long, so precisely so that we don't rush through things. So yeah, I didn't want anyone to feel like we were rushing off. We just happened to have had a condensed agenda to go through. Yeah. I'm sorry. So Laura, you still have your hand raised, but that might be from before. So Jennifer.
Yes, I was just wondering if we could give out as much pre-information before that meeting to the community, so that they have either agenda or just easily accessible content that they can review and maybe some guidelines on how to ask questions or and participate.
I'll just add, I think that would be great, Jen, because I'm trying to remember, people remind me when we had one, was that like when we had to do it on Zoom, was that kind of really early on in the pandemic when everything was so, right? Do you remember when it was? I can't remember what month that was, but spring? I don't know.
It might have been in March.
Wasn't it April? So?
Was it April? Yeah. What I'm remembering is that just getting that together, right, when everything was so, I mean, everything was just new and strange. But I feel like now, you saying that, Jen, just making me think like now we kind of get how these things go, and like maybe it would be like a better engagement of folks if we were able to prepare people a little more, because I felt like it was hard to get people to come, and there was just kind of, how could people be engaged? And a lot of, this is big. We want as many people to come and be a part of it as possible. But I think now we just know a little bit more how to prepare people, or, be prepared for this, because I felt like we were really just winging it back then. So, yeah.
I'm also wondering about the possibility of having translators.
We will definitely, we've already talked about that, so we will get it scheduled with our parent community specialists.
Angie, you were starting to say something before, and I don't think we could hear you.
Yeah, is my mic not working? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
It's just quiet.
Like, not very loud.
Quiet. Huh, that's so interesting. Got a very, very old school one that usually works pretty well. No, I was going to say something about the playground situation, but I think we don't need to go there. It's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Anyone else?
I'll say this: I'm super excited. This is happening. I think that's the message I want everyone in our community to hear. Like, we're going to have an addition and renovations, and it could possibly to be done in October, which is like mind blowing. I'm thrilled with I know it was hard deciding where to put the gym versus where to put the community, will end up being a community center. I think we've landed exactly where we need to be. I think the hardest part will be, just getting through the construction part of this, but it's such a short timeline that I think if we just lift each other up and we work together, it'll be no problem. So thank you guys so much for all your hard.
Good job. Yeah, thank you, Angie. Well said. Absolutely. All right. I think so. If that's all we have, we'll close it with that, and we'll wait for the Reiki folks to file in shortly. Thank you, everyone, for your engagement tonight. Have a great night and get some rest.